Hello everybody, welcome back to the Ultimate Master course for Excel Dashboard Analytics. We're now at chapter 9 of our Super Pro series. So we're coming towards the end of this entire series. And this chapter here today, chapter 9, is very exciting because we're going to be learning how to optimize your macros, alright? So those macros we learned in the previous chapters, how to publish in PowerPoint, PDF or emails. We're going to learn what is the fastest way to creating those macros. And what are some of the most common mistakes people make when they create their macros, as well as understand this lesser is better concept in order to optimize the speed of your macros. Okay, so a lot to cover in today's session. Let's quickly just dive right into Excel. Now, when you're working on Excel and you want to come up with a macro, most people would start from scratch. They write the code out themselves. If not, they try to record the code bit by bit along the way, and they find out sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works, and there's a lot of time spent on troubleshooting the macro to make it finally work. Now, what I recommend, the most effective and fastest method to creating your macro is really to use the internet. Use Google, use Yahoo, use all kinds of search engines outside to find existing macro templates that are available on the internet. And you'll be surprised because you'll be able to find plenty of macro templates out there in the internet that you could use. So the key thing there is that you want to be able to understand these macro templates. So familiarize yourself with macros and learn to understand the macro VBA language. And then when you are on the internet looking at the scripts that people write, you're able to sieve out what works and what doesn't work, what's suitable and what isn't suitable for your own script. Now, once you have that in mind, you're able to really save a lot of time by being able to build your macro very quickly using all these external sources, and then finally piecing together a macro that you find it suitable. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a demonstration as well how you can further optimize your macro so that it really works faster. Okay, the last thing you want is a macro that is very heavy, it's very lengthy. There's a lot of unnecessary logic functioning inside that slows your entire processing speed down. Okay, so let's kick it off with this example on the Excel to PowerPoint macro. So let's go under assign macro. We've already assigned the macro to this macro button, and let's click edit. Let's go into the VBA script here. And basically you see that this macro here is actually pretty long, right? The rule of thumb I would recommend is that your macro should be at least lesser than 1 page, alright? This is already almost 1 page. In fact, I think there's probably a lot of room to reduce the size of this macro. Okay, so just looking line by line, the first line of course is the name of the macro, Excel range to PowerPoint, that's needless to say. And dim RNG as range, all these are just defining the parameters of the macro. It wouldn't take up much processing speed. Now, in order to reduce the processing speed, we just look through the entire macro and find out lines that do not matter, alright, and we can take those out. So the first line here will be to select the range, this workbook active sheet range N1 to AB46. That's fine because that is the range of our dashboard that we want to copy. The next is to create an instance of PowerPoint on error resume next. So this is not really needed already because I have PowerPoint in my system, right? It's asking us if PowerPoint is already open or not, and if PowerPoint is not found, then there should be an error message. But I already know that I have PowerPoint in my system. I can actually take this out. I don't really need this error messaging, so I can take it out. Yeah. So what's left is that we've got a line here that says if PowerPoint is already open. If it's open, then I will keep it as open. If it's not, then I will open PowerPoint. So these two here are important. Those lines earlier on, those errors, we can actually just take it out. Now the next line here is application.screen updating equals true. Now this part here should actually be false if you want to optimize your macro. Okay, by having it as true, basically every single change of variables of logic etc will keep having to prompt your Excel to update its screen, and that takes up quite a bit of computing power. So by having this as false, you take that process out of the way, and that smoothens your Excel computing speed. Okay, the next part here is to create a new presentation. Now this is important as well. So we want to open up PowerPoint, add a slide to the PowerPoint, and copy and paste it into the designated positioning of your PowerPoint. So all this part here is actually useful. Now finally, we want to make PowerPoint visible and active, and then we clear the clipboard. Yeah. Okay, so in this example, yes, like if we want to optimize your macro, just reduce the clutter, this is how we do it. So we reduce about, I think, 1/4 of the entire script, and that's it. So let's just go ahead to test out the macro again. Click on it, and there we go. It's actually even smoother than before. So that's it. The rule of thumb here is to really use the internet, alright? Find existing macro templates out there that you could use, and optimize it by removing those additional lines. Now if you learn this concept of using macros, you can actually pretty much use it across all the different kinds of macros out there. Whether it's performing any kind of logic functioning, you could just be able to create very fine and optimized macros in your dashboard. Okay, so the last thing you want is a very well created dashboard but a macro that slows you down. Alright, I hope that this session here today is very useful. Basically teaches you the fastest way you can use to create your macros. Using the internet to create your macros is going to be so much faster, as well as learning how to optimize the speed of your macros, basically reduce the clutter to really speed up your macros. Okay, so by doing that, you'll be able to create more optimized macros, and that will really help to create a very powerful dashboard. Okay, that's it for this chapter. I'll see you in the next one. See you.